This is a caseworker and a supervisor's worst nightmare.
Yeah, the whole city's heartbroken.
Whoopi Goldberg now facing some backlash after trying to compare herself to working-class Americans on The View.
She was so filthy dirty, disgusting, half the place left. I said I'd never hire her again.
The View has spent years pushing the limits, but it seems the reckoning has arrived. After over 30 hefty lawsuits hit the show like a tidal wave, whispers are growing that Donald Trump himself is stepping in to finish the job. For too long, Whoopi Goldberg and her co-hosts have fired off accusations without consequence, until now. Trump, never one to back down, is reportedly making moves to shut the show down for good. So, could this be the end of The View's reign of controversy? Let's dive into the details. Whoopi Goldberg's most controversial moments on The View. Since its premiere in 1997, The View has been a breeding ground for heated debates, shocking walkouts, and moments that leave audiences either applauding or outraged.
Program. Have you heard of The View? They had a very bizarre intro to the disaster where dozens of people died suddenly seemed very funny to everybody.
From co-hosts clashing over political ideologies to guests making eyebrow-raising statements, the show thrives on controversy. But if there's one figure who has consistently found herself at the center of the storm, it's Whoopi Goldberg. Her unfiltered opinions, explosive reactions, and unapologetic demeanor have made her both a beloved and polarizing presence, often walking the fine line between provocative and problematic. Some of her remarks have even put her on the brink of legal trouble.
ABC News suspending Goldberg from The View for 2 weeks after she made controversial comments about Jewish people and the Holocaust,
further solidifying her reputation as a co-host who refuses to back down. One of the show's most unforgettable moments came when conservative commentator Ann Coulter made an appearance in September 2012, promoting her book, which accused liberal politicians of manipulating racial issues. As she declared, "I don't think liberals ever cared about black people," tensions erupted. Goldberg and fellow panelist Sherry Shepard were visibly furious, challenging Coulter's broad-stroke generalizations. The debate spiraled into chaos, culminating in a moment so heated that Whoopi's response had to be bleeped out for television audiences. The exchange cemented her reputation as someone unafraid to confront controversial figures head-on, even if it meant turning the discussion into an all-out verbal battle. Whoopi's tendency to take on controversial positions reached new heights in 2022, when her comments about the Holocaust stunned audiences.
Fresh controversy surrounding Whoopi Goldberg. It's spilling over from comments she made almost a year ago, saying the Holocaust was not about race.
In a discussion about book bans, she made the alarming claim that the Holocaust was not about race. Her words triggered an immediate backlash, with critics accusing her of downplaying the genocide's racial component. The fallout was swift. ABC suspended her for 2 weeks, and public figures across the political spectrum condemned her remarks. Despite her subsequent apology, the controversy only added to her growing list of moments that kept The View in the headlines for all the wrong reasons. Her clashes with co-hosts are just as infamous. In 2019, Meghan McCain, daughter of the late Senator John McCain, grew increasingly frustrated with what she called her role as the sacrificial Republican on the show.
Another day, another showdown on The View, with Whoopi Goldberg lecturing Meghan McCain about respect.
During a particularly volatile exchange about Donald Trump, Whoopi cut McCain off, snapping, "Girl, please stop talking." The moment went viral, sparking debates over whether Whoopi had gone too far, or simply enforced order in a show known for its chaotic debates. While McCain eventually left the show, citing a toxic work environment, Whoopi remained, unshaken and unrepentant. Even outside of political debates, Whoopi has found herself embroiled in controversy. In 2009, reality star Kate Gosselin appeared on The View amid her highly publicized divorce. Whoopi took an unexpectedly aggressive stance, accusing Gosselin of violating her custody agreement and warning her she could have gone to jail. Gosselin, clearly caught off guard, attempted to defend herself, but Whoopi was relentless, hammering her with tough questions more reminiscent of a courtroom drama than a daytime talk show. Whoopi's unfiltered nature has repeatedly led to accusations that she crosses the line between being an opinionated host and a liability for the show. In 2015, when discussing names that could lead to employment discrimination, co-host Raven Simone made an insensitive joke about refusing to hire someone with a name like Watermelon Drea.
I am very discriminatory against words like the ones that they were saying in those names. I'm not about to hire you if your name is Watermelon Drea. It's just not gonna happen.
The backlash was fierce, but Whoopi's response only fueled the fire. Instead of calling out the problematic nature of the remark, she seemed to downplay the controversy, adding another moment to the ever-growing list of incidents that keep The View in the hot seat. Whether defending problematic comments, clashing with co-hosts, or fiercely engaging with controversial guests, Whoopi Goldberg has become synonymous with The View's most scandalous moments. Her presence guarantees unpredictability. One moment she's a voice of reason, the next she's making headlines for all the wrong reasons. With lawsuits looming over some of her statements and public outrage never far behind, one thing is clear: as long as Whoopi is at the table, The View will never be short on controversy. Is Whoopi Goldberg The View's fearless truth-teller or its biggest liability? And could the next controversy be her last? Stay tuned. Meghan Markle's fight for reputation. In the swirling storm of legal battles surrounding The View, one name stood out among the challengers: Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex. For years, Whoopi Goldberg and her co-hosts had dissected every aspect of Markle's life, from her royal exit to her mental health struggles.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle focusing on their exit from official royal life. The book claims Meghan struggled to settle into her new family and places.
They questioned her sincerity, implied she was exaggerating her hardships, and even suggested her struggles were fabricated for sympathy. But Markle, no stranger to media scrutiny, wasn't about to let these accusations go unanswered. Determined to protect her name and legacy, Markle took decisive action. In a lawsuit filed against The View, she accused the talk show of spreading falsehoods that tarnished her reputation on a global scale. Her legal team argued that the reckless commentary had caused irreversible harm, not just to her mental health, but to her humanitarian efforts. Markle, who had spent years building her public image around philanthropy and advocacy, found herself painted as an opportunist rather than a woman navigating the complexities of royal life. With her reputation on the line, Markle joined the growing list of powerful figures challenging Goldberg's unchecked commentary. This lawsuit wasn't just about setting the record straight. It was about drawing a line in the sand, making it clear that even the most high-profile personalities have limits when it comes to defamation. Is Meghan Markle's lawsuit against The View a bold stand for justice, or a desperate attempt to salvage her reputation? Stay tuned to see if others follow suit. The lawsuit that changed everything. Whoopi Goldberg has never shied away from controversy. As one of the most outspoken voices on The View, she built her reputation on fearless, often unfiltered commentary. For years, her fiery take and bold criticisms fueled heated debates, making her both a celebrated media figure and a lightning rod for backlash. But what happens when the backlash turns into something far more serious? Goldberg's unrelenting approach to hot-button issues has kept The View at the center of political and celebrity discourse. She has taken on powerful figures without hesitation. Elon Musk, the Trump family, and anyone else who found themselves in her crosshairs. Her words, sharp as knives, often left lasting wounds. Yet, in an era where legal battles can shift the tide of influence, one of her most high-profile targets decided to strike back. Elon Musk, the billionaire tech mogul, has never been one to back down from a fight.
Your finger in so many different advanced technologies. As I said, SpaceX, Tesla, now you've got Solar City and the solar pack that people put on their houses.
Especially when his name and reputation are at stake. When Goldberg openly questioned his business ethics and suggested that his ambitions in the tech industry were driven by ulterior motives, it was the spark that ignited a full-scale legal war. Unlike past controversies that faded with time, this one had teeth. Musk, known for his willingness to take legal action when necessary, filed a defamation lawsuit against Goldberg and The View, sending shockwaves through the media industry. The lawsuit, which quickly became front-page news, wasn't just about reputation, it was about setting a precedent. Could unchecked celebrity commentary finally meet its match in the form of legal consequences? As the courtroom battle looms, the fate of Goldberg's career and The View itself hangs in the balance. The talk show, which has thrived on controversy for decades, now finds itself at the center of a storm unlike any before. The consequences of this legal clash could reshape the boundaries of celebrity discourse, raising the question, when does bold commentary cross the line into defamation? For Goldberg, a woman who has made a career out of speaking her mind, this moment marks an unexpected reckoning. The very thing that made her a household name, her fearless voice, may now be the force that threatens to silence her. And as the case unfolds, one thing is certain: the world will be watching. Donald Trump's legal strike. The walls started closing in when The View found itself buried under a staggering 30 defamation lawsuits. An unprecedented legal onslaught that has sent shockwaves through the media world. For years, Goldberg and her co-hosts operated with a sense of impunity, throwing out accusations and stirring the pot without facing real consequences. But this time, the backlash wasn't just from social media or a few angry viewers. It was from some of the most powerful and well-funded individuals in the country ready to fight back. The tension between Goldberg and Trump wasn't always so hostile. A resurfaced video from years ago tells a different story, one of camaraderie, laughter, and even affection. In the footage, Trump is seen receiving hugs and kisses from the show's hosts, including Goldberg, a striking contrast to the venomous exchanges that would later define their relationship. But the political landscape shifted, and so did Goldberg's rhetoric. Over time, she transformed from a talk show host with sharp opinions into one of Trump's most relentless critics.
Whoopi Goldberg does not like Donald Trump at all. The host of The View has had some almighty meltdowns in recent days, directly squared at the presidential hopeful.
She accused him and his family of everything from corruption to conspiracy, painting them as masterminds of a shadowy network pulling strings behind the scenes. These weren't just casual criticisms. They were fiery monologues delivered to millions of viewers, week after week, chipping away at Trump's reputation with every broadcast. For a while, he let it slide, perhaps seeing it as just another case of mainstream media bias. But even Trump has limits. Rumors began swirling that the former president was preparing to strike back in the one arena he knows best: the courtroom. Those whispers turned into headlines when Trump's legal team officially entered the fray, preparing to take Goldberg and The View to task for what they deemed were years of defamatory attacks. Unlike past targets of Goldberg's verbal assaults, Trump wasn't about to brush it off or issue a dismissive tweet. He was ready to fight, and he wasn't interested in settling quietly. Known for his aggressive legal tactics, Trump has spent decades using the courtroom as both a shield and a weapon. He has a long history of taking on media personalities, political rivals, and anyone else he believes has wronged him. This time was no different. As the lawsuit against Goldberg gained momentum, legal experts speculated on just how much damage it could do, not just to her reputation, but to The View as a whole. For Goldberg, this wasn't just another heated debate segment, or a fleeting scandal that would disappear with the next news cycle. This was a battle against a man who thrived on conflict and had the resources to wage a prolonged legal war. And if Trump had his way, Goldberg would soon learn that taking a swing at him meant preparing for a blow twice as hard. As the case unfolds, all eyes are on the courtroom, waiting to see just how far Trump is willing to go to make an example out of one of his most vocal critics. Is Whoopi Goldberg finally facing a battle she can't talk her way out of? With Trump and other big names gearing up for legal action, how far will this fight go? Stay tuned. The View's collapse, Hollywood elites, billionaire moguls, and music icons. One by one, they turned against The View. What once seemed like an untouchable talk show empire crumbled under the weight of relentless lawsuits, each one exposing a pattern of reckless accusations and unchecked opinions. Among those leading the legal assault was Chris Pratt, a Hollywood superstar known for his faith and family-friendly image. Goldberg had openly mocked him, implying that his Christian beliefs were a smokescreen for hidden political agendas. Normally one to avoid controversy, Pratt had finally had enough. His lawsuit wasn't just about clearing his name. It aimed to expose The View's habit of vilifying public figures without any real evidence. Taylor Swift, one of the most influential women in music, was another high-profile name in the fight. The co-hosts of The View had repeatedly suggested that she manipulated her romantic relationships.
NFL superstar Travis Kelce is off to a slow start this season, and some of the Chiefs fans are accusing his girlfriend, Taylor Swift,
for publicity, fueling her music career at the expense of genuine personal connections. For years, Swift had brushed off similar accusations from tabloids, but this time, she wasn't backing down. With an army of lawyers and a fiercely loyal fan base behind her, she filed a lawsuit that called out the show's harmful rhetoric, arguing that their words perpetuated damaging stereotypes about women in power. Billionaire entrepreneur Mark Cuban also found himself dragged into the storm. Goldberg accused him of unethical business dealings, suggesting he manipulated financial markets for personal gain. Cuban, never one to back down from a fight, hit back with legal action, providing damning evidence of The View's pattern of broadcasting claims without verifying facts. His lawsuit, backed by financial experts, further cemented the show's reputation for reckless journalism. Perhaps the most shocking twist came from none other than Oprah Winfrey, a longtime media powerhouse and, at one point, a close ally of Goldberg. Though she had initially stayed silent on the controversy, the co-hosts of The View went too far when they dismissed her philanthropic work as performative. That was the final straw. While Winfrey didn't pursue legal action, her public condemnation of the show was a devastating blow. If Oprah, the queen of media, was turning her back on The View, The writing was on the wall. As lawsuit after lawsuit piled up, advertisers abandoned the show in droves, fearing backlash from some of the most powerful names in entertainment and business. What was once a dominant force in daytime television now faced an existential crisis. Ratings plummeted. Network executives scrambled to salvage what they could, and even longtime fans began to question the show's integrity. Then, whispers of an even bigger move surfaced: Donald Trump. Known for his ruthless legal strategies and deep political influence, Trump had long been a target of Goldberg's sharp criticisms. But with The View now in freefall, many speculated that he saw an opportunity to strike back in the most dramatic way possible, shutting it down for good. After more than 30 lawsuits and a collapsing reputation, would Trump finally pull the trigger and put an end to The View once and for all? What do you think about the shutdown of The View? Do you think they will be able to weather the storm of lawsuits and make a comeback? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.